All right, on to roll call. Member Avalos,
Present.
Member Baraka,
Here.
Member Barry. I think I saw Member Barry. Member Campos,
Present.
Member Chen,
Here.
Member Dufty,
Here.
Member Galado,
Present.
Member Haney,
Here by proxy.
Member Ibanez. I think I saw Annabelle too. Member Kim.
I'm here. Sorry about that. I'm here. This is
Very
memory.
good, Annabelle. Member Jane Kim. Member Lacroix. Member Lee here. Member Loftus.
Here.
Member Lovett. Chair Mahogany.
Here.
Member Mandelman. Member Marr.
Here by proxy.
Member Maliga.
Here by proxy.
Member Morales.
I'm here.
Member Raju.
Here by
Member
proxy.
Thank you. Member Ronan. Member Thomas.
Ronan, I am her proxy, Morales.
Thank you, Carolina. Member Thomas. Member Tong. Member Williams.
Here.
Member Feinstein.
Here by proxy.
Member Pelosi.
Here by proxy.
Member Spear.
Here by proxy.
Member Kounalakis. Member Ma. Member Cohen.
Proxy.
Member Weiner.
Here by proxy.
Member Chu.
Proxy.
Member Ting.
Proxy.
Thank you. I'm just going to go back and check. Member Jane Kim. Member Lacroix. Member Lovett.
Here by proxy, Annabelle.
Thank you. Member Mandelman. Member Thomas. Member Tong.
Here. Thank you.
Got it. All right, we've got 27 present, so we have quorum. I'll pass it back to you, Chair Mahogany.
Thank you, Member Lee. Member Lee, I am now going to move on to approval of the meeting agenda, which is item number 2. Can we have a motion to approve the agenda?
Move
So
approval.
Second.
Thank you. Who was the first person who moved it?
Spear.
Spear, and then we had Member Dufty seconding the motion. Are there any amendments to the agenda? Seeing none, can we take this without objection? Without objection, the item passes. We will now move on to the approval of the meeting minutes.
I would like to table this. I've talked to the ED, Jackie. I unfortunately am traveling right now, so I've not been able to finish up the minutes. So I'd like to table this for next meeting.
All right, thank you, Member Lee. Can we have a motion? Is that a motion that you're making?
I actually don't know if it needs to be a motion, if it can just be under chair's discretion, but I'll leave it to you all.
Why don't we just have a motion and have it approved by the body just to be safe?
So moved.
Motion to continue.
Motion to continue. Thank you. Thank you by Member Dufty, seconded by Member Avalos. Can we do this without objection? All right, the motion passes. Thank you for your attention to it. I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, Chair. I have a quick question about the minutes.
Sure.
Janice, if we have some revisions, should we email you, or are you gonna, because I was at that meeting and I'm showing as excused, but that's probably a carryover from the June meeting.
It is. I actually do a roll call in a Google sheet to tally everything. And so it's just not accurate right now. So I'll be able to give you all a clean copy at the September meeting. I apologize for that.
No worries. Thanks.
All right, thanks, Member Lee, for attending to that, and we will look forward to seeing it at the next meeting. All right, if there are no more comments, any more comments? Then we will move on to general public comment. which is item number 4 on our agenda. General public comment is an opportunity for folks in the public to engage with members of the Democratic Party and speak on any items of interest on the agenda. So at this point, I will turn this portion of the meeting over to our Executive Director, Jackie Prager, to help facilitate this process. Thank you, Director Prager.
Thank you, Chair Mahogany. If you would like to make public comment, please use the raise hand function at the bottom of your Zoom. We will bring you onto the panelist side, during which time you'll have 2 minutes to make your comment. If you are entering this call via phone, please press *9. If you cannot find the raise hand function at the bottom of your screen, please send an email to info@sfdemocrats.org. I'm seeing Susan Pfeiffer as our first speaker. Susan, I'm bringing you over. Susan, you have to unmute.
And open my camera. And there I am. Hi everyone. A lot of thank yous and a few announcements. First of all, just a thank you to SFDCCC for the amazing work you're doing on the Stop the Recall phone banks. It's been a new world, and I love working with you. Our biggest and best was last Saturday, where we had Lieutenant Governor Eleni Kounalakis joining us, which was quite fun. We had about 20 plus callers per shift with the 2 shifts, and it was co-sponsored by the Alice B. Toklas LGBTQ Club and United Democrats and Democracy Action Resistance Group. And definitely special thanks to, or kudos to Jackie Prager and Peter Galata, and Jason Park, who's still stepping up and doing the work and making this happen. And among our special guests also were Joaquin Torres, the city assessor, and David Campos joined us. So we had a really good time. We're doing another one this Saturday, and it is being sponsored by, sponsored by Honey Mahogany, first of all, and joined with the Alice B. Toklas Democratic Club and also the Harvey Milk Democratic Club. So it's going to be a fun one, and we're getting a lot of signups. It's our last one at Manny's on a Saturday. So if you've missed those, come on out. We really enjoyed doing it in person again, and sharing the joy of having good phone calls and talking to voters who are all voting no and have turned in their ballots. And lastly, a shout out to Keith Baraka, our member Baraka, I'm learning to say that, who held a wonderful canvas on Sunday to not knock on doors, but distribute literature at homes of presumed unregistered voters, to let them know they have till August 30th to register and still vote in the special election. And it was a good turnout from, I think it was Eastern Democratic Cause, and very well produced. Yummy snacks to get us started, and good, I think Jackie did the training before I got there because I couldn't find parking. So it's been a busy summer, a busy August, and more to come. So anyone who can join us for a phone bank can get out the vote, and then we move into canvassing and door knocking very soon. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Susan. Next on public comment, we have Brandy Markman. Brandy, can you hear us?
Yeah, thank you very much. Susan, thank you so much for your work. And I just want to say, as co-chair of San Francisco Burnocrats, we really appreciate you. We were, to my knowledge, one of the first clubs to oppose the Newsom recall. We did this way back in April because we saw this coming. So thank you so much for that. I want to comment really briefly on a resolution that's before you tonight. Can't remember the name, but it's by Member Tung. It has to do with, I think, basically a brief mention of someone who is did not happen to be in my club for allegedly stealing recall ballots. I would like to just express, first of all, my disappointment that we didn't have a unanimous vote from the DCCC on opposing all of these recalls because they are Republican backed. And I'm disappointed to see that there are some, I mean, not a lot, but a few DCCC members that are supporting this recall. I really would love to see our county's parties stand in solidarity against all of these. They've all been supported by all of the recalls have been supported by the San Francisco Republican Party, and we need to be standing against these. Recalls are not democratic. They are very undemocratic. And I want to speak specifically to the school board. Some recalls, some of you know this, but in May, Steve Bannon said the way to take back the country was through school boards. 2/3 of all of our recalls in California involve school board members. These recalls are happening in Virginia and all over. They are targeting women of color, specifically Black and Latinx women all over the country. So going forward, I know we've also talked about a lot in our political circles about lifting up women and women not feeling safe. I would really like to see people on the DCCC really taking a very loud and vocal stance against these women who are being recalled by Republicans. Thank you.
I am not seeing any more hands raised for public comment. So it was a short one this month.
All right, if there are no more members of public comment is now closed. And we will now move on to officer reports, and we can begin with the chair's report. I want to echo Susan Pfeiffer's voice and also to thank her for her tremendous work that she's been doing on behalf of the San Francisco party and representing San Francisco in a lot of this state work that has been happening, working with Vice Chair Galata in organizing the phone banks and really championing that effort at Manny's. So thank you, Susan Pfeiffer, for all of your leadership, as well as Director Prager. And again, our wonderful intern, Jason, who actually just completed his internship with us. He was with us for 2 internship turns because we just could not let him go. And he finally, he had to move on to do other things. And so we just want to let you know, Jason, how much we appreciate you and all of the work that you've done. You've really helped us move mountains over here. So thank you. And we just look forward to seeing what you do next, because I'm sure it's going to be absolutely incredible. So I know that our executive director will be speaking more about this later, but I just wanted to give you a personal shout out. Speaking of which, I just want to say again that yes, we have been doing a phone bank every week at Manny's. They have been in person. I do also want to give a shout out to Alice B. Toklas Democratic Club. I know there have been several Democratic clubs that have been involved and are in conversation about hosting many phone banks, but I will say that of the 3 phone banks I've been able to attend, at 2 of them, I saw members of Alice there, and I've seen the emails going out to their members. So just a huge shout out to them for really organizing and helping fight back against this recall effort. We will have this Saturday, I'm just going to really hammer it in, an LGBT phone bank. We are hoping to partner with the LGBT caucus from the California Democratic Party. I know that Milk and Alice have both come on board, and it would be great if we could get all the LGBT members of the DCCC on board, helping promote and hopefully showing up to do some phone banking this weekend. I think it's going to be really powerful, and there is the ability to phone bank outside. So please do join us in that effort. And I won't talk about this too much because I'm sure Vice Chair Galata will have a lot more details forthcoming during his report. So I'll leave that at that. I will say that the Democratic Party has been busy with other things besides phone banks. We also partnered with Labor in doing some outreach with, in partnership also with Board President Walton's office, doing voter outreach in District 10. And we also partnered with President Walton's office along with Keith Braca in doing voter outreach as well. So we have been doing a lot of work. And I think this is a good segue into our next piece, which is that a lot of this work doesn't come cheap. I mean, yes, a lot of us are doing a lot of this labor for free, but we do have staff here at the San Francisco Democratic Party, and it does cost money to do a lot of what we are doing. And so fundraising is a really important part of all of our jobs, I think, on this body. And I want to give, we did have a very successful fundraiser with Tom Amiano, who was very generous in giving his time for our event. And we did make quite a good amount of money, but that money goes very quickly. So we are now looking towards another event that is coming up in the fall. And I want to thank Jackie Prager, member Thomas, as well as all the other members of the fundraising committee for all the work that they are putting into this. Again, member Thomas, vice chairs Lacroix and Galata, and also a big thank you to Kathleen McDonough, who has been really working tirelessly on this fundraising committee. I would just urge any members who have any capacity at all to really get involved. If there's any way in which you can support this, the planning of the fundraiser coming up this fall, you are more than welcome to join those weekly meetings. Any little bit helps. I just know that this core group of folks has been working really, really hard and could use your support. So I would just really emphasize folks stepping up and helping out if they can. I would also like to give some credit to Supervisors Haney, Ronan, Mandelman, and Marr for their ongoing commitment to helping with fundraising efforts. And finally, I would like to announce that we have updated our records to reflect who is currently a monthly donor at the Democratic Party. And so many thanks to all those members who have signed up for our program, including several proxies of our ex officio members who are supporting the important work of the San Francisco Democratic Party through their monthly donations. So I'm going to read out the names so that people know who is donating and who is in compliance, and to thank you for your ongoing support. So that's member Avalos, Vice Chair Baraka, member Barry, member Campos, member Dufty, Vice Chair Galata, member Haney, member Ibanez, Vice Chair Lacroix, member Lee, Vice Chair Lovett, Chair Mahogany, member Mandelman, member Marr, member Moliga, member Raju, member Ronan, member Thomas, member Tung, and member Williams. And again, I want to also recognize the following regular proxies for ex officios who are donors, including Alex Walker, Gary McCoy, Izzy Maloof, Matthew Rothschild, Brian Perkins, and Kathleen McDonough. Thank you all so much for your very generous support of the San Francisco Democratic Party. It does go a long way in helping us further our work. So if you did not hear your name, and there were only 4 people who probably didn't hear their names, I would reach out to the executive director in case there was some sort of mistake and you had signed up and, cards expiration date comes up and things fall off. So if you haven't heard your name, please reach out to Jackie Prager and we can get you signed up, because it would be amazing if we had 100% compliance with our membership program. And that concludes my executive director's report. And with that, I will pass it on to Outreach and Vice Chair Lacroix. Vice Chair Lacroix, are you there? Actually don't see her in the list, so we will move on for now to issues and resolutions, and I believe we have a proxy for Vice Chair Levitt in member Ibanez.
Right, so my report is, I have a report written out, and give me 1 second. I apologize. I had to move from one room to another. Just want to mention that my family's here visiting. My stepson is visiting from LA. My grandbaby is here as well. So I have company, and I wanted to make sure that I went to another room where I can provide Vice Chair Lovett's report. So here's her written report. Vice Chair Lovett is supporting her father as he has been very ill and transferred to a nursing home. So I'm sharing her report as her proxy. The Issues Resolutions Committee held a special meeting on August 4th after members voted at the July monthly meeting to send the resolution in support of protecting our democratic process, authored by Member Tung, to committee. We had 8 members in attendance, offering a range of voices on revising this resolution that had been prompted by illegal actions during signature gathering from local recall efforts. Member Tung made edits following the meeting that addressed concerns and suggestions from both meetings, and attendees decided upon review that this resolution could be sent to the August monthly meeting. Member Tung and others can speak to these changes when the resolution comes up in item number 7. Thank you all who participated in our democratic process in the San Francisco DCCC. In addition to our local phone banks, I'd like to highlight opportunities to make calls, write postcards, and canvass for Democratic voters in our communities of color to turn out in opposition of recalling Governor Newsom. I received emails from the API caucus and from the Chicano Latino caucus on targeted phone banks. If you have the language skills or connection, we need you to do vital outreach to these communities. Please go to cadem.org, cadem.org to sign up for this event. Thank you, Vice Chair Lovett. And that concludes our report.
Thank you so much, Member Ibanez and Vice Chair Lovett, for that report. We will actually go back. I'm sorry, I made a mistake and I skipped voter registration. So Vice Chair Baraka, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Susan did a great job of talking about our lit drop and voter registration in D10. So I'll just add a few other things. I'm really happy that folks were able to come out. I want to thank Director Prager, Member Tung. She wasn't able to be there, but she certainly got people out that day. Member Lacroix for coming out. And a special thanks to Board of Supervisors President Shaman Walton for welcoming everyone that day. We got hundreds of cards out. We had like 12 people show up, which I think is a decent showing for a Sunday morning. We did have some refreshments. People seem to enjoy those. And we did the lit drop. I think it was very successful. We have a big thanks to Adam Miller, who runs Universe, the web-based application that we use to identify the doors. And I'm really pleased with what we were able to do. Of course, I'd love it if more members could come out and do something I think is very fundamental to what we do as Democrats. For future ones, the voter registration committee will be meeting in the next week or so to discuss our lit drops for the next 6 to 12 months. So we'll have a schedule available and hopefully we'll get more club involvement on this very vital thing that we do here with the party. I believe that's it. If I missed anybody, I don't think I did. Please let me know. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Baraka. We will now move on to club partnerships, and I'll turn it over to Vice Chair Galata.
Thank you, Chair Mahogany. Good evening, colleagues. We are full speed ahead in fighting the recall against Governor Newsom. And so just to add to the comments that have already been shared by Susan Pfeiffer and Chair Mahogany and others, I just want to thank everybody first and foremost for being engaged and getting involved and doing what your part to help us get the word out to San Francisco voters. We are just weeks away from this election and voting has already begun, as you all know. I know that most of us have already gotten our ballots. Many of us have already voted. And I'm seeing more and more people posting on social media that they are voting. And that's what we want to do, is continue to get that message out to make sure people have gotten their ballot and that they're putting it in the mail and they know how to vote in this election and why it's so important. The governor was just here a couple of weeks ago, kind of launching his, the campaign and standing in solidarity with our San Francisco leadership. And it was a really powerful moment that really is just what we're doing is getting the word out and drawing attention to this election. And what we've been doing, and I want to acknowledge Susan Pfeiffer specifically, because she has been critical to our effort and a critical partner. And just thank you, Susan, for everything you do. But rolling up sleeves from the beginning to help us launch our weekly phone bank series on Saturdays. Jason Park, Director Prager, many DCCC members have joined us and have co-hosted. Thank you. Manny's has been a critical partner in this and providing the space for us gratis, and we're so grateful for that. And we've really been focused on key partnerships throughout this recall. So we've been working very closely with the California Democratic Party and their team. They have some new staff that they've brought on, including a Northern California organizer, in addition to their organizing director, who we've been working closely with. Democracy Action San Francisco, Swing Left San Francisco have been key partners with us in hosting virtual phone banks, in addition to our in-person phone banks at Manny's. And I also really want to acknowledge the San Francisco Labor Council, who has also been heavily involved, not only just our San Francisco Labor Council, but labor throughout the state is all in fighting this recall, and has been hosting canvasses since mid-August to fight the recall. And so we actually hosted partnered with the Labor Council to host a precinct walk in District 10 in the Bayview with President Walton and with union members. And I really want to thank Member Thomas for his work to help coordinate that event. And we are going to continue our partnership with labor in the next few weeks to continue to canvass. So the strategy at this point, what's changing a bit, is that we've been focused primarily on phone banking. In these next few weeks, we're going to be shifting to canvassing for the next few Saturdays after this Saturday. And labor is playing a key role in leading that canvassing effort. So actually the Labor Council is going to be out this Saturday canvassing, and will be out also on September 4th and September 11th canvassing as well. And so I will keep folks posted as those canvassing events, as we get more details come, because we would love for everybody to come out. So just mark your calendars at this point, that Saturday, the next few Saturdays, if you can lend some time to be with us. We already mentioned the event this Saturday, the phone bank, LGBTQ phone bank at Manny's from 10 to 1. I'll drop the link in the chat. So please help us and our LGBTQ members. We would love to see you there. And thank you, Chair Mahogany, for kind of being our lead host for that event this Saturday. And thank you to Alice and Milk for co-hosting, and also our other clubs that have stepped up. I want to also just acknowledge the United Democratic Club, Alice B. Toklas Club, the Pacific Islander Democratic Club, and the Latinx Democratic Club, who have all stepped up. And Eastern Neighborhoods Democratic Club. These are clubs that are saying we want to help, and they have already engaged with us and are doing work and organizing their members. And we are so grateful for that. So there's really strength in numbers at this point. Our events are growing. We're seeing more people engaged, which is great. We're reaching more voters every Saturday. And this is the home stretch. We're almost there. So just asking everybody to do what you can in these final weeks. So joining us this Saturday, helping us promote this phone bank, and then plugging into our canvassing events the next 2 Saturdays, September 4th and September 11th. September 11th, by the way, is going to be kind of a big unity, Democrats, everybody together event. So just would be great to see everybody there. Saturday, September 11th, that is with San Francisco Labor Council and the Democratic Party and a bunch of other partners. So Democratic clubs, whoever wants to join us for that event, let's talk about it, because we want it to be big. And I think that's it. This is kind of the show of the day right now. So let me know if folks have questions or if you're interested. I know there's been talk of hosting more bilingual phone banks, particularly for Spanish and Chinese speaking voters. So definitely would love to see that happen in the next few weeks. And anybody else who has other final ideas or thoughts, let me know, but hope to see you in the next few Saturdays. So thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Galata, for all of your work helping to organize all of that and for your report. Moving on, we will now hear from our treasurer, Member Morales.
Thank you, Chair. Hi, everybody. I was just doing some calculations given our balances. So in our federal account, we have 15,700 and change. In our state account, we have $3,000. So we are running low. And that's important, especially because we have our new amazing ED who gets paid mostly in that, from that state account. So we really need to work on our fundraising. Thank you, AJ, and all of the fundraising committee members for your work. And let's see how I can help with that given the current state of our cash flow. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Morales. We will now, I think, hear from our fundraising committee, and I'll turn it over to Member Thomas.
Sorry, I was drinking water just as you said it. 1 second. Thank you, Chair Mahogany. And sorry, folks, I have a bad signal here, so I cannot go on video. But report out from Finance Committee. The Finance Committee met over the last month, and prior to that, I met with our executive director who had prepared an initial fundraising plan based on the projected expenses of the party over the next fiscal year. The rough example of what our goals were set upon the initial fundraising plan and the needs of the organization. Snapshot would be that we need about 140K annually just to keep the lights on. That's the bare minimum expense to make sure the party is running properly. And as part of meeting that 140K, we'd like to throw fundraising events. As was indicated last month and earlier today, the target is to have a fall in-person event, likely be in early November. We are finalizing venue and guest of honor information now, and we'll likely be able to share something hopefully even before our next meeting is the goal. The fundraising target for the fall event is about 30,000 net after expenses, and we'll be relying on all of our members to help with finding fundraising donors and partners for this event and supporting in some way. So we really do look forward to working with everybody on that. Aside from the event planning that's going on, by the way, I want to mention that we have the planning committee that is organizing the fall event meeting Tuesdays at 6 p.m. regularly. We'd love to have you. If it's been a while since you've thrown a party and you think you're pretty good at it, come join us. It's a quick check-in, 30 minutes on Tuesdays at 6. We'll add you to the group, and we'd love to have you as part of our committee. I want to thank Kathleen, Leah Lacroix, Peter Galata, Chair Mahogany, and previously Keith Baraka, who had to step off, but has been a great resource to the committee for a long time for their work on the committee so far. But we definitely need more folks, especially because we're hoping to have this one be in person. Other areas for fundraising include small dollar donations. As Chair Mahogany mentioned already, we're at almost 100% of our DCCC members being small dollar donors at the minimum to the DCCC. We'd love to make that be 100%, and we're planning that it'll be 100% by the time we have our next meeting. So the next discussion that we had at the committee was how to expand that donor network, the small dollar donor network, outside of just the DCCC. And that could include DCCC alumni or members of the clubs. And so we're starting to begin to look at the process of going outside of just the DCCC for that. And then lastly, the biggest chunk of our budget is made up by call time. And that's a heavy burden, but primarily met by the chair. So thank you, Chair Mahogany, for the amount of call time you're putting in, but also to our members who have put in call time to raise large sums of money for the party so that we can keep going. And that is the report from Finance Committee.
Thank you, Member Thomas, for that report and for your work on that committee and organizing that committee. I thought I saw a hand up, but it looks like it's gone back down. So if there are no other comments on this report, we will move on to the report from our Executive Director, Jackie Prager.
Thank you, Chair Mahogany. Most of what we've been doing for the last month has been phone banking to stop the recall against our governor. So it's a lot of that, a lot of lit dropping for voter registration. We're hoping to do it once a month. And for all of our members or anyone watching, if you would like a sign, a window sign, a lawn sign, a button, some lit, please email info@sfdemocrats.org because it's all at my apartment. So happy to make deliveries as necessary, but please reach out. I wanted to say hi to our newest intern, our fall intern, Ria. She attended the last phone bank on Saturday. She's going to be incredible. Ria's going to be great. I also wanted to say thank you to our summer interns, Diego, Ashwarya, Tanushri, and Jason, our lead intern. They did a ton of incredible work over the summer, from social media management to graphic creation for our phone banks to, outreach to schools so we can get more incredible interns. And our lead intern, Jason, is here. And because it's his last meeting, I wanted to see if you'd like to report back anything or address the body. But other than that, I yield my time to Jason. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Prager. Certainly, I just wanted to take a few minutes to thank you all so much for making me a better organizer, making me a better activist and a better leader through this internship at the San Francisco Democratic Party. And I'm very touched and I appreciate all of these shout outs and the comments that I've received, not just in this meeting, but previous meetings. And if you all need additional volunteers or student sort of involvement and participation, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'll still be here, and San Francisco Democratic Party will always have a special place in my heart. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jason. And I see we have Member Campos is raising his hand.
Thank you, Chair Mahogany. I just wanted to take this opportunity, having worked with Jason as chair, to just acknowledge what an incredible job he has done. Being an intern can be a challenge. And I've always said, with internships, they really are what you make of them. And Jason, because of his can do, no task is too menial attitude, has really had an incredible success as an intern for us. And I just want to acknowledge that. And I know that for me as chair, knowing that he was involved made me feel a lot easier about so many things that were going on. And of course, he continues to step up. And so I just want to say that it is really gratifying to see that level of excellence in a young person. And it makes me feel so much better about the future of our party to know that, people like him are going to be leading the party at some point. So thank you, Jason. Incredible work.
Thank you, Member Campos. Member Barry.
Yes, I just wanted to say, Jason, thank you so much for all the work you did with us. You taught me a lot. Your grace. I've been working on grace for 10 years and I'm not there yet, but I'm working real hard at it. And your patience and your due diligence and your professionalism and your passion. I really enjoyed you, and I'm supporting you on your future endeavors and hope to see you Friday.
Thank you so much, Member Barry. And see no other hands. Jason, just one more time, thank you so much for everything you've done. You've been a real inspiration and a pleasure to work with. So we're sorry to see you go, but we know that you are just a phone call away. We hopefully will not be abusing that privilege of being able to call you up, but hopefully we'll be seeing you at future mobilizations and phone banks. All right. I would now like to check back in and see if Vice Chair Lacroix has a report.
For the sake of time, we can continue on with the agenda, Chair Mahogany.
Okay, thank you so much, Vice Chair Lacroix. We will now move on to CDP Region 6 Director Kelly, our Director, Henny Kelly. Is she on the line?
I don't see her in the attendees.
Okay, she may be busy with another meeting. Given that, we can go ahead and move on to our next item. And if Henny Kelly is out there, just let us know and we can come back to you. For now, let's move on to item number 6, which is a presentation on fairness for Injured Patients Act by Sandra Lowe. This is the goal of this act is to readjust California's maximum compensation cap of $250,000, which was set in 1975 on wrongful death and quality of life damages. And this has not been updated since that time. So thank you so much to Sandra Lowe, who is going to be presenting on this upcoming act.
Thank you so much, Chair Mahogany and Director Prager, for allowing me to speak on this important issue. As was just said, in 1975, a bill was passed in the California legislature to cap the amount of money for damages for medical malpractice on what we call pain and suffering. It was capped at $250,000, and it's almost been 50 years, and they have not adjusted that cap. As a result of which, people who are being harmed, they have no recourse. I mean, $250,000 in this day and age, as you know, does not go very far. So the authors of this initiative, which is qualified, it will be on the ballot and statewide in 2022, have adjusted this cap to the cost of living. It will also allow juries, if there is something very egregious that happens, to award over the cap. It will allow patients that are harmed up to 2 years to decide whether or not they want to seek damages. Right now, they only have 1 year. And it allowed juries to know that there is a cap. Right now, juries are not even allowed to be told that there's a cap. And so many juries award more only to find out that the people can get those amounts. The chair of our committee is a man named Charles Johnson, who lost his wife, Kira, in a regularly scheduled cesarean section at Cedars-Sinai Hospital in Los Angeles, California, one of the top hospitals in the nation. As an African-American man, he felt like he kept trying to tell the hospital staff there was something going wrong. They never took notice, and his very healthy wife, Kira, died. His story is been told on several specials, etc. Oprah Winfrey featured him in her special about fathers, but it's a story that's told over and over again. And as chair of this campaign, we're focusing on the patients and trying to get something for them. So we'd love to have the support of your committee. We will be taking this to the Democratic Party for an endorsement. It'll probably come up at the beginning of the year. And, the party platform speaks very clearly to this. This is a civil rights issue. We have courts and we have juries, and somehow they're not being able to be used in the way that they were meant to be. So I hope we will have your support. I've sent some information over to Director Prager, who hopefully will send it out to you. I will, when I'm finished speaking, I'll put in the chat our endorsement link. If any of you as individuals would like to endorse or reach out to me, I would welcome a conversation. Thank you so much for giving me this time with your committee. I know you're very busy, and I appreciate so much being able to be here with you.
Thank you so much for your presentation and bringing this to our attention. Members, does anybody have questions? I see Mr. Perkins.
Ms. Lowe, I'm a proxy for Congresswoman Jackie Spear, and I'm going to be voting her proxy in favor of this, even though I have no idea if she supports it. I'm going to do that in part because she's worked on the same issue with respect to malpractice in the context of care offered to members of the American military who themselves are actually barred from seeking damages for medical malpractice. So it's even worse than what you're talking about. I don't want my vote in favor of this to be interpreted as her endorsement of the initiative, because I honestly haven't spoken to her about it, but I think it's an important issue. So I just wanted to let you know those are the circumstances in which we'll be voting in favor of it. Thank you very much.
Sir. Thank you.
Members, are there any other questions?
Yes, Chair Mahogany. I would like to speak. Is that okay?
Go ahead, Member Williams.
Yes, I just want to thank you for your work on this. I have a personal testimony. I actually, 6 years ago, my sister and I were in these circumstances and we're just disheartened by this rule given, my mom was not a rich person. And so it was really about pain and suffering and just being able to pay off, her liabilities and be whole as a family. And so I really support this and sign me up, whatever I can do, because it's wrong and it penalizes those who are not wealthy. I mean, if you don't have economic damages related to someone's passing, then you just, there's no fight and it can't be brought before the courts because you kind of weigh your options on if I'm going to bring this in front of a court and spend all the legal fees to do that. And you kind of take a gamble and just settle. And so I would love to help in any way possible. I believe this came before the voters, I think a couple years before.
Yes.
We had this experience and it failed. And so I'm just really actually emotional hearing that this is happening and would love to support in any way.
Thank you so much. And you're right. It was on the ballot in 2014. Unfortunately, I will tell you, we're going to get outspent by insurance companies. That's just a fact. They have more money than we will ever have. And they'll, tell some tale that we'll all have to endure. But, hearing testimony from you, Ms. Williams, and others, that's what we need. And I think we can win this time. And we just have to be, really tell our story. And you're right. It's all about, it affects people that have little means because they're the ones that are capped. The rich people, they get away with it. You're right.
Thank you, Member Williams, for your statement and support. Member Tung.
Sorry, I guess I was muted. So I wanted to thank Ms. Lowe for bringing this to our attention and also to try to give a little bit more flavor to it. So I've had a couple of friends who unfortunately have had the loss of a child who, again, because of the child's non-economic background, right? So an infant or somebody who's very young does not have a proven track record of economic earnings or things of that nature. And so this cap also affects people who are very young, who may have suffered because of the malpractice, negligence of medical providers, and there's no recourse for the parents because there's nobody who's going to take on a liability case, a medical malpractice case, where there is no way to pay the legal fees. And so, for friends of mine who have had to suffer emotionally as parents with the loss of a child, they have then added to this emotional burden the insult of not having any redress for the medical malpractice done by providers. So this is extremely important, and as a state and as a party, we should be supporting something along these lines to really have some accountability in this space where there are these giant gaps for people who don't have economic power and who are some of the most vulnerable people in our community. So thank you very much. And thank you, Member Williams, for also sharing your pain. My condolences to your family for your loss.
Thank you, Member Tung. Member Campos.
Thank you, Chair Mahogany. And I just want to thank Senator Lowe for bringing this item forward. The fact is that for those of us who have been practicing law in the area of consumer protection for quite some time, we have been trying to overturn this cap for a very long time. The last time, as Sandra noted, that this was on the ballot was in 2014. I was actually running for assembly at that point. And there are so many business interests, insurance companies in particular, but also others that are ready to spend a lot of money against this effort, which is why I think it's really critical that we try to humanize this cap along the very powerful lines of what member Chanel Williams did. More of those stories need to be told, but just know and be ready for a lot of money being spent against this, and know that this effort is going to prevail if we run a grassroots campaign and are unafraid of the money that will be spent. But I know that if Californians actually get the facts and understand the implications, that this will finally be overturned. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Campos. Are there any other comments on this item? Oh, Vice Chair Baraka.
I just wanted to thank Sandra Lowe for all of her hard work. Hello, Sandra. I am familiar with your work, and especially with California. I believe it was 19, correct?
Yeah, we worked on that. Yes.
Yeah, so thank you for
I'm
that.
always trying to help my firefighters. Let's put it that way.
We love you for it.
Thank you.
My question to you, if I may, I know that this has been on the ballot before, and I certainly supported it last time. And I remember my Congresswoman, Congresswoman Spear, as her proxy mentioned, had something that she supported that was similar to this. But my question to you is, how do we fight back against all the money interests that you know are going to be a part of this statewide initiative? So what do you suggest that we do to kind of counteract all the money that's probably going to fall into this?
Well, the first thing is, please let's try to get an early endorsement. One of the things, because it's so early and it's next year, is that we're out ahead of the game this time. We're not going to play catch up with anyone. And we're already talking to, I'm making, I don't know how many calls a day. We have a full team, we're organizers, and we're out there. And we're joined by some incredible groups that, last time sat on the sidelines. I'd also like to give a shout out to NUHW. They've come on board with us. Healthcare providers, thank you for standing up. We think we'll get the Democratic Party this time. Last time they were neutral. And this time we're going to get the Democratic Party. Last time they threw in what they called sweeteners, and they weren't sweeteners at all. They put in things like drug testing. And I think that everyone in this Zoom room would agree that drug testing is a slippery slope that we don't want to go down. And when they put in things like that, you're alienating a civil rights group that wants to be with you. So this time, the title in summary is purely the financial implications of this issue. It's all about bringing it up on the cost of living, informing the juries, and allowing juries to make decisions. There's no other, pieces in it. So we think we have a better measure this time, and we're out there early, and we're gonna, hopefully we will prevail, because we will get the grassroots support, like Vice Chair Campos, mentioned. And thank you for your support as well. And if we can get Congresswoman Spear, that would be amazing. Always love to have her in our corner.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I have a question, seeing no other hands. This has already qualified for the 2022 ballot.
Yes.
But it hasn't been assigned a number yet, has it?
No, the numbers will be assigned when all of the ballots, all of the initiatives that are qualified. And then they have some order that they put to it. So that won't happen until next year.
Okay, just in favor of being able to support you, what would be the best thing? Should we wait until we get a number and then come back with a resolution in support, or
No, it doesn't. I mean, you can endorse it now. I mean, the number is ministerial on the part of the state to assign. It doesn't change anything in the initiative whatsoever. So, many times organizations take positions on the initiatives, before they receive the numbers, because the numbers are kind of the last thing that happens. And by that time, everybody's already taken position. So the number is not critical.
Thank you so much for that clarification. I'm wondering if we should make a motion to support this item. Member Barry?
Yes, I just had a question. Speaking from co-chair of the endorsement committee, I personally would vote yes on this. However, as the endorsement committee co-chair, should we be inviting whatever opposition to this first to do process protocol?
To have an official process around the endorsement of this item?
Yes.
I believe that's a fair question. I think what might make the most sense to me is if we were to bring forward a resolution in support of this item, rather than having a sort of formal endorsement process. Are there any other ideas that members have on how we might best put forward our support for this item?
Do our bylaws, hi, this is Susie. Do our bylaws speak to if there are certain issues we can choose to do an early endorsement? Because I know we can early endorse a member of the DCCC, because this feels like it would be an early endorsement. And we did do this for what ended up being Prop 20, which was the criminal justice reform bill or measure. So we have precedent for going ahead, especially in support of a measure. But I wonder if our bylaws speak to that.
I wonder if Vice Chair Lacroix has any input on that as parliamentarian.
I think Member Loftus, you bring up an excellent question. And as you were saying your question, I was going to point to the fact that there was precedence for us. But if you're asking me to look to a specific section of the bylaws, give me one moment and I will do that. And I also see Member Thomas's hand is up. So maybe.
Oh yeah, sure. We can go to Member Thomas. Thank you.
I appreciate this has been brought here. I'll be voting for it. I'm guessing most folks here would as well. I think maybe the question that we should ask ourselves is the time sensitivity. Whenever there's an urgent vote that takes place that and we want to bypass perhaps some process that is there. We just need to understand if it's going to be because we need to do it this month as opposed to maybe going through our more traditional method next month and endorsing it. I didn't know if there was a reason why we definitely wanted to vote on it right now, but if so, that would probably be helpful in bypassing our traditional process and just voting on it now.
Thank you, Member Thomas. Member Ibanez.
Thank you so much. I actually was going to say that I think it's important, if this is an issue that we feel urgently, that I am in support of supporting this. And if we do pass a motion, I will support it. It is urgent. And I think at the same time, it also allows us to influence others to support this. So I would support this if we make a motion to this.
Thank you so much, Member Ibanez. Mr. Walker.
Thanks. I just wanted to make the point that for those of us who are proxies, on the agenda, this was, listed as a presentation and not an action item. So just would like the opportunity to have an agenda where we can discuss it with our ex officios beforehand. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Walker. I think that's a great point. And then I see proxy for Assemblymember Chu, Mr. Hunter.
Yes, I just wanted to echo the comments made by Alex. I would support your idea, Chair Mahogany, of bringing forth a resolution to support this concept, primarily because I would love to speak to my ex officio before making a vote.
All right, thank you so much. Vice Chair Lacroix.
Yeah, so to answer Member Loftus's question, I do not see anything in the bylaws on that particular topic. And so I guess with this particular hat, like my advice and suggestion would be what Member Mahogany brought forward, which was to bring forth an agenda item or to, consider this at our next meeting.
Sure. Thank you so much, Vice Chair Lacroix. That makes sense to me. I think that Ms. Lowe, you have a lot of support here, and we're eager. I think many of us are eager to sign on and lend our party's name to your list of supporters. But just in order to make sure that we're doing everything right, I think we're going to wait just one more meeting before we officially do any sort of endorsement or pass a resolution, and then we'll definitely reach out to you and let you know when our next meeting is, so that you can be here. But I don't foresee any issues.
Thank you so much. I'm very respectful of everybody's processes. Let's do it right. And thank you so much for having me here, and I'm very grateful to return.
Thank you.
I'll put some information in the chat. I'm having a hard time, want to follow the questions and put things in the chat. So I'll wait till I'm done, and then I'll put things in the chat for you.
Sure. Yes, absolutely. And I'd be happy to sponsor. And if folks want to co-sponsor a resolution in support of this, please let me know. Member or Vice Chair Baraka.
I just wanted to quickly ask Sandra, is there a link to the actual language, or can we get some more information on exactly what the initiative says as well?
Absolutely. I'll put all of that in the chat. I'll put the actual link to the Secretary of State's website where you can read the whole language. And I see that Director Prager said that she's going to send out our palm card, which is sort of our talking points. And then I'll put our website in there and our Twitter account and all the goodies that you might want to use. Thanks.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Members, are there any last comments on this item? Seeing none, we will move on to our next item. Thank you again, Ms. Lowe, for being here and presenting on this really important issue.
Thank you.
Our next item is item number 7. So this will be the second time we will be hearing this item, as it was originally referred to committee for further discussion and has been amended to reflect that discussion, as was reported by Vice Chair Lovett in her report. This is a resolution in support of protecting participation in the democratic process. Colleagues, can we have a motion to consider this item?
So moved.
And a second. Thank you. Moved by Loftus and seconded by
Member Ibanez.
Member Ibanez. Thank you. I will now turn it over to the sponsor of this item, Member Tung.
Hi, thank you, Chair Mahogany. So this is the product of a very collaborative effort by those attending the resolutions committee, and I thank the committee and people who came on to have a fuller discussion and to work on this for doing that work. And I think we've come up with a product in this resolution that I think would address a lot of people's concerns regarding some of the language. The language is a little bit softer. It does take out specific references to the recalls or to recalls generally. There was no specific recall that was cited in the original resolution, but it does make a broad statement about the support that the Democratic Party in San Francisco has regarding participation and protecting our democratic processes. It does also is more inclusive in terms of historically marginalized groups. And, I appreciate the time and effort that everyone has put into putting forward this collaborative type of resolution. And if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer the questions or any other questions regarding them.
Thank you so much, Member Tung. And I also just wanted to thank you personally for putting the time and effort into this resolution and being able to work so well with your colleagues in crafting this language amidst being a new mom and all the other pressures that you have. I really appreciate your flexibility and your labor, so thank you. I see Member Lee has her hand raised.
Yeah, I just want to say, as one of the members who attended the Issues and Resolutions Committee, I want to just thank the openness that Member Tong had to bringing this forward. I know that this was a sort of a hot button topic. I know that there are things I have not agreed with Member Tong in the past, but I really, really have to say, I really respect her approach in being welcome to take time and engage. I was one of the people who was open to voting on the resolution with some smaller friendly amendments, last meeting. And I think that we are in a better place and appreciate everyone's openness to this. I think at the end of the day, we as the SF Democratic County Central Committee should be very clearly voting yes on this and saying absolutely hell no to anything that obstructs our democratic process. So I'm really looking forward to a unanimous yes on this today.
Thank you, Member Lee. Are there any other members who'd like to make a comment on this item? Seeing none, I wonder if we can actually take this without objection. Does that sound moved? All right. Without an objection, this item is approved. Congratulations, Member Tung.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. And since Chair Mahogany mentioned the baby, here's the baby.
Super cute.
He's got perfect attendance for the DCCC at this point.
Well, we appreciate it. Future Democrat right there.
There you go. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Member Tung, again, for all of your work on that item. And colleagues, I believe, we have one more resolution, a resolution in support of compliance of SB 826, the requirement for women to be on boards, the general boards and general commissions. This item is being brought forward by Member Barry. Can we have a motion to consider this item?
So moved.
Thank you. That was Member Avalos. And do we have a second?
Second.
Second by, I saw Baraka's hand first, Vice Chair Baraka. Member Barry, the floor is yours. Thank you for bringing this forward.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First, I want to say that my heart hurts that I didn't prioritize this week getting an emergency resolution in regards to Afghanistan and Haiti. I have so much pain in my heart right now for those two countries. However, moving forward, yes, I am introducing this resolution in support of compliance of SB 826, the requirement for women to be on boards, the general corporations law. Members, my first ship, I was on 3 ships in the Navy, and my first ship, I was one out of 11 women. And I asked my chief, who had already been serving for 20 years, what was it like when women first came on board ship? He said, well, the men started working harder and taking showers. So with that said, I'd like to say that, members, I comprehend that the Secretary of State report was conducted in March. However, I conducted due diligence as much as my capacity allowed to do and found companies that are still not in compliance. I'm sick and tired of women being deemed not qualified or being said that we don't show interest or any other excuse on why we don't deserve a seat on boards. It's 2021, and please believe I love men, but a lot of these male-dominated corporations need to do better. Our body here shows what true diversity should look like. I'd like to give a special thank you to wonderful women members, Lovett, Morales, Ronan, and Ibanez for co-sponsoring this. And that's my introduction.
Thank you so much, Member Barry, for bringing this forward. Colleagues, are there any others who would like to comment on this item? Seeing no hands, I would just like to say I would also like to be added as a co-sponsor, and thanks again for bringing this forward. I see there are other co-sponsors in the chat. If possible, it doesn't seem like there's much opposition. Colleagues, can we take this without objection? Oh,
Chair
Mr.
Mahogany.
Yes.
Sorry, I was just going to motion that we pass by acclamation.
Okay, perfect.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Member Thomas and a second by
Loftus.
Loftus. Thank you, Member Loftus. All those in favor, say aye.
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 All those opposed? Any abstentions? The motion passes unanimously. Congratulations, Member Barry. We are now at item 8, which is new business. Colleagues, are there any announcements that folks would like to make? Any upcoming events that they would like to plug? I see Member Lee.
I would be remiss to mention that September is Transit Month, and Caltrain, BART, and a bunch of other agencies, unfortunately not Muni though, are going to be 50% off. So if you want to take your joy rides on public transit, September is your month to do so. So welcome back all.
Thank you very much for that announcement. I did not know. Member Braca, Vice Chair Braca.
I think Member Thomas had his hand up first.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see you there, Member Thomas. Please go ahead.
I just wanted to reiterate 2 things. One is that we have, as was mentioned, remote phone banking all throughout this week. I believe Labor Council partner organized one is going to be tomorrow. And I'm sure that we have more going into the weekend. And as was mentioned, the big precinct walks as well. So, and you know what? It's a September transit month. So get your discount transit ride over to the precinct walks. Look at that synergy. So we definitely, we would love to see y'all at the precinct walks and participate in the digital phone banking as well. Other thing is, if you, I want to reiterate, if you're a party planner and you want to be involved Tuesdays at 6, let us know. We'd love to have you involved in our fall fundraiser planning.
Thank you so much, Member Thomas. Vice Chair Braca.
I just wanted to say something that I don't believe folks got a chance to hear because it was beginning the meeting, but I was at the phone bank this past Saturday, and we had a little bit of a snafu with the wireless internet. And I just wanted to add that if you have the ability to initiate your hotspot from your telephone, you might want to just make sure that that's up and ready, just in case we have any more hiccups in the wireless web. That helped a lot, and a few other people were able to connect to their hotspot because the internet went down. Just wanted to mention that.
Thank you so much. Member Loftus.
Yes, I just wanted to thank this body for all the advocacy it did on behalf of safely reopening schools. It's August, everyone. The kids are back in school. They're so happy. I keep running into teachers. I know we've got representatives and the teachers, just big thanks to the teachers. They're happy. The librarians are happy. There's a lot of work happening, but there's just, I guess I wanted to pass on as, one of the moms of school-age children. There's a lot of joy and struggle at the same time, but it was a result of a lot of advocacy and a lot of work of this group. So I wanted to pass on. So far, so good. Let's hold a good thought that everybody stays healthy.
Thank you, Member Loftus. Are there any other new items that people would like to bring forward or bring to our attention? Okay, seeing none, we will move on to our final item, which is adjournment. And for that, I would actually like to provide an in memoriam for Janice Mirikatani. She is someone who passed recently this July 29th at the age of 80. Most everyone in San Francisco knows who she is, especially those who spend time in the Tenderloin or downtown or who have ever attended Glide Memorial Church or volunteered there. She was a powerful force of nature, a force to be reckoned with, someone who was driven, strong, incredibly talented and versatile, a compassionate leader, and also a survivor who gave so much to our city and our world. She was a teacher, a dancer, a poet, and in fact, she was the second poet laureate of San Francisco and a founder of the Glide Foundation, and really led the way in developing Glide's ethos and impact into the beating heart of the city that it is today. Her work has earned her the title of sensei and the love of thousands of people all across San Francisco and the world. And I know that many of my colleagues share my sentiments in extending our love and our prayers to Reverend Cecil Williams and their family and all who knew and loved them. So I would really like to adjourn this meeting in honor of Janice Mirikatani. Is there anyone else who would like to provide comment or has an in memoriam of their own? Member Barry. Member Barry, you're muted.
Okay, here we go again. Yes, I'm a member of Glide, and I started attending actually as a child, and then I went back in 2014. And from 2014 to 2020, I went to Bible study every Tuesday night, and Janice conducted one of them. And I tell you, her leadership, her power, her fierceness, and her few of her curse words, you know, just really empowered me. And I love her so much. And thank you so much for honoring her tonight, Chair Mahogany.
Thank you, Member Barry. Mr. Walker?
Thanks so much, Chair Mahogany. I'd like to also adjourn in memory of James Hormel, who was the first openly gay person to be nominated for an ambassadorship in 1997 by President Clinton. And, you know, I was a little young at the time to know what was going on, but to read, you know, as I got a little older and working my, way through queer history about the opposition that he faced, just really, I think to today's younger people would be pretty shocking. And then finally in 1999, he was made a recess appointment, Ambassador to Luxembourg, and served through 2001. So some in the room know him probably much better than I ever did. But he was a longtime philanthropist in San Francisco, founder of the Human Rights Campaign, supported the symphony here in San Francisco, and was a civic leader for decades here. So I'd like to adjourn in his memory as well.
Thank you so much for bringing that forward. Is there anyone else who'd like to comment on either of these in memoriams? Okay, thank you so much. And in honor of Janice Mirikatani and James, is it Hormel?
Hormel.
Hormel, thank you.
Hormel, he's an heir of the Hormel Foods, if you're familiar with that brand.
Thank you. And in honor of James Hormel, we will adjourn. Thank you, colleagues. Have a good night.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good night.